Okay, let's start getting our parts clean. First note, so if that doesn't work for you, then good luck to you. Parts are never too clean. First things first, go to the dollar store, whatever, Family Dollar, whatever's cheap. Get some of these inexpensive containers. There you can see what I got here. Works fine. They got a lid, even though you don't really need that. Be sure you stop by the ladies section and get some cotton cosmetic pads. You got to have your nylon brush. Old toothbrush works fine. Blue pick, excellent to use in here. If you can get wood stick Q-tips, they're the best. Reason being, you can shave or break off this Q-tip and it lets you dig into grooves that you know, it can't scratch, but it'll remove stuff that's in there. Get a bunch of them. I got them in the website store. Hopefully, you know, if you've got access to them, great. If you don't, not a big deal. You can use regular Q-tips. Here I've got an ultrasonic, and I use a salt blaster in it. You know, simply I process a lot of regulators every week. You know, the mix is consistent, and you know, time's money to me, but that's expensive, and salt blaster isn't inexpensive, but it produces consistent results for me, and it's what I like to use. So before we go on to anything about cleaning, remember I talked about the piston. Don't clean the piston with anything else. Clean it all by itself and treat it like a porcelain Jesus, because you're probably not going to find a brand new Mark V piston. And the key to the piston is it's got to be as clean as possible. This area on the shaft is where the dynamic O-ring runs, and if there is any corrosion, burrs, whatever, it's going to, you know, it has a propensity to dig into that dynamic O-ring. It's going to ruin your seal. Your IP will never seal. You know, it's just a bad situation all the way around. Also, the end of the piston is what makes the seal, the hard seal, into the high pressure seat. You want to be sure that's clean, shiny, but you don't want to remove any material. Now, there's a lot of information out there about how to refurbish this end if it's damaged or if it needs to be. Most of the time they're in pretty good shape, unless some yahoo's got a hold of it and, you know, dug it up. A simple thing you can do is just take a piece of green pad, put it on here, twist back and forth, feel the surface. You're not going to remove any material with this. It's just not strong enough. This stainless steel is hard. Do the same thing on the end. Inspect it with your fingernail. Run that edge, that sharp edge, around your fingernail. If you feel any gouges or dips, you're going to have to fix that before you go any further. You're just wasting your time. Get the groove clean where the O-ring rides. It's a dynamic O-ring. It's got to be clean. Around the base, for whatever reason, I don't know the real answer is, a lot of times you'll see rust in this area and on the bottom of the spring, so be sure you clean that up good. Having at least one shim in there helps with preventing friction due to the twist, is that, you know, each time that spring's compressed. Let me see if I can zoom in here really close. You can see that this one didn't have any shims, and it may not have needed any to get the IP it wanted, but you can see where the end of that spring has ground into it a little bit. Not a big deal. Once you get your piston clean, you're sure it's good to go, just set it aside. Also, don't put your nylon plastic parts in anything that's, you know, corrosive. Okay. Take the plastic bucket. 50-50 water and vinegar. If you hot solution is best. I mean, you know, you got hot water, you put the vinegar in there, it cools it off. But if you can get it hot, it's best. Then just take your metal parts and set them in it. Let them set about 10 minutes at a time. Now, this had a spec cap on it, so it was packed full of silicone. that silicone is not going to melt out of there in hot water and vinegar. Vinegar is not going to bother that silicone grease at all. You're going to have to remove it just simply with patience, time, a lot of paper towels, a lot of cloths, and just get rid of it one at a time. As this is setting in here, the vinegar is going to start breaking down the saltwater deposits. Now, vinegar is acidic, but diluted with water, it's not bad. This is not nearly as strong as what we used to use, which you should. I won't go into that because you should use it in a well-ventilated area, and catastrophic results followed if you left things in there too long. As about every 10 minutes, as stuff is soaking in here, pull your parts up randomly and take your nylon brush, both ends, and just start digging into it. All sides of it, each part at a time. Work it around. Check it every 10 minutes. If the saltwater corrosion's gone off the part, then it doesn't need to be in there anymore. Leaving it in even a mildly, acid bath like vinegar, diluted vinegar is, you can still leave it in there long enough to wear out, get the chrome out of it. So leave it in there only as long as possible, and take out each part as it's done. After they've been in the acid bath, take another container, put a tablespoon of baking soda in it, a couple of caps of Simple Green, the rest of it hot water. Baking soda will neutralize the acid of the vinegar. The Simple Green is a great degreaser. It's biodegradable, you can get it anywhere. If you're fanatical, you'll use Simple Green Gold, which is a little bit of overkill. Dawn dishwashing liquid is fine. So as you've moved all your parts over here, just let them set in there, and it takes time. The hot water and the Simple Green, Dawn, what have you, will start breaking down any of the dirt or other stuff that's still left on there. Like I said, the water's never going to be hot enough to break loose the silicone that was packed in this one. It doesn't, it is limited in an ultrasonic. Therefore, even when I use an ultrasonic for cleaning these, I have to dump the solution every time because it contaminates the bath and I can't use it again. So, and folks wonder why I can't rebuild the regulator for 10 bucks. So, anyway, let it soak in here. As you're doing it, once again, pull things out, clean it. Start taking your pick, run it in the grooves. I should say your plastic pick. Don't do that with anything steel or stainless. All right. As you go through there, then you can pull each part out at a time, and you can start using Q-tips on it and start squeezing the Q-tip into the groove, running it around. Then you'll start taking out stuff that you didn't think was there. Cosmetic pads work great. Work them in all the way around on every side of it. Keep doing it till these come back, till your Q-tips come back clean. Same way with cosmetic pads. That may take a while, so you're gonna have to put parts in, take parts out. After that's all said and done, you need to rinse everything very thoroughly in just clean, fresh water. Then set them in the bucket of just water and just let them set. Give it time to everything to get rinsed off of it. Rinse it under the faucet, put it in here in the clear water, dump it every once in a while, get it cleared out. Finally, you take your air hose. Should be pretty self-explanatory. Blow everything air dry, or you can let it set dry. It just takes a heck of a lot longer. And then as a final step, to be sure that you've got everything clean, take your cosmetic pads, your Q-tips, start running them around on the inside of things. See that? Even though it looks clean to your eye, it's not. You can get it cleaner. And you may have to go back to the hot water and the Simple Green step, which is okay. But unless you're willing to go the extra mile and get everything clean, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. So you're going to want to take the time to do that. Get everything clean. It's not going to happen quickly, especially on a regulator that you saw what looked like that was in bad shape. interesting to note that we noticed that the piston that we took out of this, see the gouge on the back side, the front side is pretty well used, but when once I got the cap off, I could see somebody had dug nicely into it, dug a couple of nice divots. I have no idea how they did that, but you'll discover things as you get it cleaned out. Cleaning's the non-glamorous, non-fun part, but it makes or breaks whether the regulator is going to be successful when you put it back together. Once again, just harping on the piston. Don't put it in with the parts. Clean it by itself. You know, clean it as carefully and inspect it as thoroughly as possible, and you will your end results when we go back to assembly and setup will be a whole lot better. Hope that helps.